Sebastian Seidler ist mein Name.
My name's Sebastian Seidler. I'm 22 years old. I've had diabetes for 16 years, type 1, and I'm an insulin pump carrier. When I got the diagnosis, I was on my way on holiday. I felt worse and worse, and then my body just couldn't cope. Then we drove to the hospital, and then the diagnosis was made there.
Ich konnte nichts damit anfangen mit 6 Jahren.
I didn't know what was going on at the age of 6, and, as is the case when you're little, you do or eat things you shouldn't. It was a bit difficult to understand in the beginning too, because you're not allowed to do the things you used to do. My parents were always behind me. Since I got the illness, they've always told me you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do that, you're allowed that, and then it becomes easier too.
Danach ist es auch einfacher. Ich treibe viel Sport.
I play a lot of sport. My hobby's refereeing. It's good for my illness anyway, and it's fun as well.
Während des Spiels
I can't take my levels during a game anyway, apart from in the 15-minute break. I check my levels twice then, at the start and at the end. But during the game I notice it in my body myself, and if you've lived with the illness for a few years, then you get to know the signs. There's a lot you have to watch out for. You have to set the pump so that it doesn't supply too much insulin. You always have to have glucose with you, and I have to check my levels. I usually check them every 20 minutes. I'm there an hour before the game, so that's 3 times. And depending on how the levels change, I know whether I have to supply more insulin or less. It depends.
Weniger, je nachdem. Also meine Eltern haben über eine Untersuchung.
My parents have talked to me about one hypoglycemia. It was really tough. Glucagon was used. I struggled against it subconsciously, and both my parents had to lie on top of me so that they could find a spot to put the needle in, because it was impossible. Your body defends itself against it on its own, and I knew nothing about it. I saw a picture of it, but then I couldn't do anything about it. Well, it's difficult.
Es ist schwierig.
Since I've had the pump and since I use it, the hypos have become less and less. It's an advantage if you go out to eat somewhere. People who don't know about the illness always give you a funny look if you have to inject yourself or whatever. But it's different with the pump. I just adjust it under the table. Nobody sees it, and that's that. The pump really is a big advantage. I mean, people have given me a funny look when they've seen me getting something out, rolling up my sleeve and then injecting. They think, what kind of a character is that then, eh? They just don't know. And that's really tough. The older you get, the easier it is. But when I was younger, it wasn't so pleasant. It was often the case that lots of people said, I don't want to have anything to do with someone like that. And then they just turned around and went away, really. The first time we met, she didn't realize. I kept it quiet to begin with. But looking back, she found out herself. She saw it and asked what it was. Then I told her all about it. In a way, she's taken over my mother's role and says, have you checked? Have you eaten? Have you done your insulin? And that sort of gets on my nerves. But in a way, I think it's okay too. She's just concerned, and that's all right.